Here's the new Ruger LC9S that we just picked up, well, I should say just about a week and a half ago. Has yet to be shot. It's my wife's gun. She had little difficulty. She loves the gun, loves the feel of it and the size of it, and had a little difficulty with the long trigger pull on the old one. Especially after shooting my Glocks, she would grab her gun and it just didn't feel right. And her hands would start shaking towards that long trigger break. And she liked the gun, wanted to like the gun even more because it was obviously hers. And when we seen this one at a gun store here when they first came out, I think at the end of July, and had tried the trigger, it was absolutely mind-boggling, the difference in the trigger. And why they didn't come out with this originally is beyond me. But it's a great gun. Some still love the LC9. I have the old LCP, not the newer improved trigger version, and love that gun. I'm used to it though, so it's a little different. And yeah, the trigger does suck when you're shooting other, lighter triggers such as a Glock, and you go to that hammer-fired trigger. So here's all the stuff that it comes with from the factory. Obviously, you get the pouch. You get, I would call that an armband even. It's rubber. My wife can wear that on her wrist if she wants, and really look cool while she's shooting her gun, right? Comes with the breech lock there. Comes with the New Jersey mag if you want to mess around with the gun and dry fire it. Comes with a flush base plate. The finger base plate is installed on the gun when or at least it was when we got it. It comes with the lock, spent casing, and your basic literature from Ruger. Obviously it's chambered in 9mm. It has a 7+1 capacity. It has a 3.2 or 1/2 inch barrel, I believe, which roughly translates to about 3 1/8 inch barrel itself. It's a thoroughly hardened alloy steel slide, and it has the glass-filled nylon frame. This gun is fairly light. It's got an extremely light trigger. I'll go ahead and grab my scale, and just from handling the gun, it just feels really good to me. The handle may be a little slim, but again, my wife has really small hands, so let's take a look and see what the weight is. So it feels even better for her, and I don't mind it at all. But this is with an empty mag. We're coming in at 15.95 ounces, so roughly just under 16 ounces for this gun. And it is what you expect from Ruger. It's a quality piece, all the contoured edges, no additional charge. They really take the time and detail into their framework as they do the LCP and pretty much any other polymer gun or nylon glass filled gun that they have. It has a little safety trigger here, very similar to a Glock, where it won't fire. And obviously for those that are really super anal about everything, it's obviously been safety checked before the video. But the slide lock is a little bit difficult to operate. This gun has not been shot, so if I pull it back a little bit, it's a lot easier. It has 3-dot sights on it, a decent sight radius. The length of the actual gun from the tip to the dovetail here is 5 inches exactly. So, and the height of the gun without the finger extension or rest is 4 1/4 inches. So it's a really small, relatively small firearm for 9mm. And I remember shooting, I think I shot hers about 40 times on the old one. And it had some kick to it, but I typically run 147 grain, but 115 grain, you can definitely feel the difference. In comparison, you'll see it's really, really thin. And in comparison to the Ruger LCP, it's obviously a lot bigger. And what isn't, right? Compared to an LCP. But let's take a look at the measurements on the slide here. 0.875 thousandths. I mean, wow. The car, PM9, just on the slide alone, 0.97 thousandths. And on the frame, 0.979 thousandths. Because the frame sticks out a little bit on the car. And speaking of the car, let's go ahead and compare those two real quick. There's the LC, put that in the frame, the LC9 and the car. Car's obviously smaller, and again the slide's just it's marginally, the dovetail on this is a little different here, but to line them up, get a better idea of what it looks like. With the finger extension, you know, if I was to carry that LC9, we have yet to shoot it, and if it's a shooter, and it compares to my car, and I have yet to shoot the car. I just bought that as well. Who knows? I mean, I tell you what, it's got a better trigger just from dry firing it. The car obviously has been safety checked as well, empty magazine. And the car, it's got that double action only trigger. Now this one is just, I mean, it, to be honest with you, it almost, and here's the reset, it almost feels too light. It really does. Put the car back. The LC9S, obviously you can get extended mags for it. From her old one, you know, it comes with one mag, so you don't get a lot of range time. You get an extended mag, and that's a 9-round magazine. The difference here, and I don't know if I remember correctly, but you know, you can comment in the comment section there. But this this old extended grip, or extended magazine rather, I don't know if it was flush with the old grip on the LC9, or if they've added a little bit more of a contour divot in there, because it doesn't sit flush. I mean, it sits flush around the edges, but it doesn't sit flush right in here. And I don't see that being a big deal. That's not something you would carry that way. But it gives you, I mean, it really gives you something to grab onto. It feels like a full-size gun. But it's great for the range, this magazine. This isn't something I would consider carrying that way, because obviously the length of your handle is what's going to dictate how big of a gun you're carrying. The barrel doesn't matter whatsoever. You carry a handle that big, and you may as well go with a Glock 17 or something like that, right? I mean, if you're a Glock fan, you can go a 1911, whatever full-size handle you want. But again, short video of the LC9S. Great little shooter, or great trigger, I should say. Yeah, it was a decent shooter before, and I hadn't had much range time through it, maybe 50 rounds at the most. As again, it's my wife's gun. She won't let me shoot it until she does, so we had range plans today, and if it clears up, I'll definitely be doing a video with this, and obviously comparing it with the car PM9 as far as trigger, because they're very similar guns. You know, it's not like a, if I can just get that set up there, the Ruger LCP is extremely small, so there's no comparison there. But anyhow, there's the Ruger LC9S. If you haven't checked out the trigger, the new trigger, safety. I hate safeties, but if you haven't checked out the new trigger, check it out at your local gun store. You're going to be absolutely blown away, like I was. But anyway, again, thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please post them below, and I'd like to hear from you guys. Take it easy.